It's the day you always dreamed of. The promotion came through. The bank balance finally crossed that invisible, life-changing threshold. You earned it. You're officially a high earner. You told yourself, when I get here, the stress will stop. The anxiety will vanish. I will finally feel secure. But you're still checking your accounts obsessively. You're still worried about the next downturn. The relief lasted maybe a week, replaced by a new, more insidious pressure. The pressure to maintain. You have more money than ever, yet you feel just as broke, or perhaps even broker than when you started. This is not a failure of logic. It is a failure of psychology. You've successfully navigated the financial world, but you failed to navigate your own mind. This is the wealth trap, the devastating phenomenon where achieving high income fails to deliver true financial satisfaction. Today, we break down the invisible mental barriers that keep the rich feeling poor and explore the 3 fundamental rules of genuine financial intelligence to finally break the cycle of scarcity. The first, most powerful mechanism is the hedonic treadmill. This concept explains our astonishing capacity for rapid adaptation. Think back to a major purchase you made, a new car, a bigger apartment, that state-of-the-art gadget. For a few days, maybe a few weeks, that item provided a genuine, noticeable dopamine hit. You felt elevated. But then something happens. That new car smell fades. The larger home becomes the new normal. The luxurious vacation photo is now just wallpaper on your phone. The thrill, the hedonic pleasure, regresses back to a baseline. What was once considered a luxury quickly becomes a necessity. In the context of money, the hedonic treadmill means every new income bracket you achieve simply becomes the starting point for the next race. $1 million net worth feels impossible until you hit it. And then, immediately, you look to the next goal, 5 million, 10 million. Because your brain has a profound inability to appreciate the absolute scale of your success. It only recognizes the relative change. And once the change stops, so does the satisfaction. This constant state of needing the next level to feel good is exhausting, and it is the primary fuel for the feeling of scarcity in the face of abundance. This treadmill doesn't just apply to things, it applies to titles, status, and the very structure of your day. A demanding, high-paying job that felt rewarding initially becomes a suffocating routine within a year. You traded your time, your peace, and your freedom for a number that your brain has already discounted. 3. Principle 2. Lifestyle creep, the silent killer of wealth. If the hedonic treadmill is a psychological issue, lifestyle creep is its tangible financial manifestation. It is the silent killer of wealth, defining the relationship between income and expenditure. Simply put, it is the invisible inflation of your daily life. As your income rises, so does your spending. And this spending doesn't usually happen in one dramatic splurge. It happens in micro upgrades. You stop buying generic groceries and switch to organic. You upgrade to a slightly more expensive cell phone plan. Your occasional dining out becomes a weekly fixture at upscale restaurants. You start hiring help, a cleaner, a gardener, services you never considered before. Each decision,
in isolation seems justifiable. I work hard. I deserve this small convenience. But over time, the sum of these micro upgrades becomes a massive, rigid structure of fixed expenses. The cost of living is no longer defined by basic survival. It's defined by your current income. The danger here is a lack of reversibility. When you earn $50,000, reducing your spending is painful but manageable. When you earn $300,000 and have built your life around a $250,000 expense structure, a drop in income, a recession, a job loss is catastrophic. That luxury lifestyle is not a cushion. It's a high-interest debt to your future self. You've essentially signed a contract that says you must continue to earn at this extreme level simply to remain in your current position. This is how high earners become cash poor, feeling constant pressure to keep their extravagant structures from collapsing. The insidious nature of lifestyle creep is that it targets the time poor. High earners often lack the time to cook, clean, or manage simple logistics, so they outsource everything. The cost of convenience is incredibly high, and it ensures that no matter how much you earn, a large percentage is immediately consumed by maintaining the machinery of your high-status life.
The third barrier is the most psychologically damaging. The social comparison virus, also known as keeping up with the Joneses. In the digital age, the Joneses aren't just your neighbors. They are your entire social media feed, meticulously curated to display peak status and effortless living. We are biologically wired to be relative. It's not enough to be secure. We need to feel more secure or more successful than our reference group. This is the root of envy and financial anxiety. The moment you buy a luxury item, the thrill is immediately curtailed by the awareness that someone else owns a better, newer version. The comparison never stops because the digital landscape presents an infinite escalation of wealth. This social pressure transforms spending from a means of acquiring utility into a performance of status. You don't buy the expensive watch because you need to tell time. You buy it because it signals to others and to yourself that you have succeeded. But status derived from possessions is fleeting. It requires constant updates, constant defense, and constant comparison. This comparison often pushes people into debt or into working jobs they hate for the sole purpose of affording a lifestyle designed for external validation. The pursuit of status through consumption is the ultimate definition of the wealth trap. You are perpetually running a race you can never win, because the finish line is determined by the ever-increasing success of others. Before we dive into the solutions, we need to address a hidden driver of scarcity: parental money psychology. Our unconscious financial framework is often set not by our current income, but by the financial habits and anxieties we witnessed in childhood. If you grew up in a household with genuine scarcity, your adult response often manifests in two opposing ways. The first, hoarding and extreme frugality. You save obsessively, terrified that the rug will be pulled out from under you, no matter the size of your savings account. The number is never big enough
to silence the childhood fear of running out. The second, and perhaps more common among high earners, reckless consumption. This is an unconscious, almost frantic attempt to prove that you are no longer poor. You buy the most expensive versions of everything to symbolically destroy the ghost of your past financial struggle. This spending is not about utility. It is a trauma response, a continuous effort to outrun the memory of being financially vulnerable. If your parents constantly worried about bills, that fear is now embedded in your nervous system. You may earn 10 times what they did, but the feeling of anxiety about money remains the same. True financial intelligence requires confronting this buried narrative. Until you heal the way you relate to money from the past, you will always be driven by those old, unconscious fears, not by rational, present-day abundance.
Breaking the wealth trap requires a mental, not a financial, transformation. It means adopting a new set of principles for financial intelligence. First, define enough, the financial independence number. Stop chasing an arbitrary number defined by others. You need to define your number. This is not your target salary. It is your financial independence number. This number represents the asset base required to cover your actual, non-negotiable living expenses without having to work. This requires a ruthless audit of your life. Separate needs from wants. Calculate the exact bare minimum annual amount you need to live a life you find satisfying and secure, even if modest. Multiply that by 25, following the 4% rule of withdrawal. That calculated figure is your true finish line. When you have this number, the focus shifts from the abstract concept of getting rich to the tangible goal of getting free. Every dollar earned is no longer measured by its status signaling power, but by how much closer it gets you to your freedom number. This clarity cuts the hedonic treadmill short because you are now running toward a defined escape hatch, not just an endless horizon. Rule 2. The intentional gap. The antidote to lifestyle creep is the intentional gap. This means creating a deliberate, uncompromised space between your income and your consumption. It's not about spending less, it's about making your savings automatic and non-negotiable. When you receive a raise or a bonus, your immediate action should be to increase your investment rate first, not your spending. If you get a $10,000 raise, automatically allocate $7,000 of it to long-term investment before you even consider spending the rest. You are essentially intercepting the money before your brain recognizes it as disposable income. The intentional gap ensures that your lifestyle creep is slow and controlled, not a runaway train. It's the difference between upgrading your house from a desire for status and upgrading it only after your long-term wealth goals have been securely met. This practice creates a psychological buffer against external pressures and keeps your fixed expenses low relative to your income.
Rule 3. Value-based spending. Buying back time. To defeat the social comparison virus, you must shift to value-based spending. The question is no longer, what can I afford, but rather, what purchase genuinely improves my life or buys me back time? Research shows that experiential purchases, trips, concerts, skill building, provide lasting satisfaction, while material purchases provide only temporary pleasure. Even more valuable is spending money to buy back your time. Paying for a cleaner, a meal prep service, or a virtual assistant is not a luxury. It is a strategic investment if it frees up hours you can spend with family, on a side project, or simply resting. Time is the ultimate non-renewable resource. When you use your high income to acquire time, you are investing in your long-term happiness and peace of mind. This approach cuts the link between money and status. You are optimizing your life for internal richness, more free time, better health, deeper connections, not for external performance.
The wealth trap is the greatest irony of modern financial success. It's the constant, exhausting chase for a feeling of security that can only be found through an internal shift. True financial intelligence is not measured by the size of your portfolio, but by the peace of mind it affords you. It's the understanding that abundance is a mindset, not a number. You can be a high earner living in perpetual scarcity, or a modest earner living in profound abundance. Take control of your financial narrative today. Define your freedom number, create the intentional gap, and prioritize value-based spending to buy back your time. Stop running the treadmill built by others and step onto the path that leads to your own definition of enough. Ask yourself, what is my enough? And what action will I take today to prioritize freedom over performance? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if this video helped you shift your perspective on money, hit the like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the psychology of wealth.